So we got a bit of wrestling news to get to today on December 17th, and that is starting with the biggest news of the day. John Cena will be keeping his streak of 20 years of having a WWE match. Cena has had a match on the main roster every year since his WWE debut back in 2002, and this year's going to be no different, with Cena teaming up with Kevin Owens against Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn on the final edition of SmackDown in 2022. And if that wasn't enough, you have to wonder if his presence on the December 30th edition of SmackDown, the final edition of SmackDown of 2022, you have to wonder if that will have any inkling of stench when it comes to Cena's match at WrestleMania. Because there are rumors that John Cena will not be featured at WrestleMania due to his filming of Ricky Stenicki in Australia in February and March. So it is possible that Cena will not be featured, but it's also possible that if Cena is not going to be featured heavily at the Royal Rumble or in the Royal Rumble, then there really is no point in starting his road to WrestleMania now, unless you want to drop some hints or rumors and tease a thing or two. Then I don't see really the point in having Cena have a WrestleMania match teased if, again, unless you want to plant the seeds, which I don't really know who you would plant the seeds against or for Cena to have a match against. So I don't know where that would go, to be honest with you. But either way, Cena made his presence felt last night on SmackDown in a video via satellite to announce that he will be teaming with Kevin Owens on the December 30th edition of Friday Night SmackDown against the Bloodline. Also on SmackDown, we saw the debut of Uncle Howdy in a very Undertaker-esque debut, or a very Undertaker-esque entrance, where Uncle Howdy basically debuted in a veil of smoke, and I believe it was during a LA Knight and Bray Wyatt segment where both men were in the ring. Sorry, LA Knight, yeah, segment, and he just tipped his cap and then left, pretty much, from what I understand. So that was a big reveal. Rob Fee, in my opinion, did not, stonewall us as far as that's concerned. But the fact of the matter is, it wasn't what we expected, and I think the clarity is none of this rivalry or this debut has been what we expected from Bray Wyatt. And there is no clear way to sit here and say that we know what to expect from Bray, because there's been there's no way to predict what happens next. I mean, I don't think anybody would have expected that Bray Wyatt was going to have his first feud against LA Knight. You know what I mean? So it was an interesting way of doing things last night. It was an interesting sight, I do say. Also, I just want to mention that there was a spot during a triangle tag team match where Hit Rose, Top Dollar went for a dive, and it seemed like either his leg gave out when he was going for the dive, or he got caught on the top rope, and basically, from what I understand, fell on his head going out the ring and landed on the apron. It looked nasty, but based on the fact that we have not heard any injury news, it seems as though Top Dollar is fine, which I am very that's always better to hear that somebody's doing well after a scary spot during a match than hearing that, well, they're not doing well. So good on Top Dollar for being, being all right after what was a scary point in his match against Legado del Fantasma and the Viking Raiders, which I believe was a triangle tag team match to determine the number one contender for the Usos and the tag team titles at a later date. Because I think WWE just feels like they have to get the Usos on television defending the titles here, there, and sometimes, which is pretty accurate in my opinion. Now, I'm going to try and talk about this as minimally as possible because that's about as much as I think it deserves. But the news earlier in the week about a possible Vince McMahon return, in my opinion, this embodies the emphasis of how important it is that Vince decides to do what is better for WWE and not be selfish. Um, because the news headline read a Vince McMahon return to WWE would endanger WWE. And honestly, I couldn't agree with that more. That a Vince McMahon return would endanger WWE because a Vince McMahon return would endanger WWE. It would endanger WWE because of how the public perception that Stephanie, Nick, and Hunter have been working on changing for the last, what, 5 or so months, or 6 months, or whatever it's been since July, or since they had to, do damage control pretty much on Vince McMahon and what happened with the company, that basically it is the idea that Vince returning would undo all that goodwill. Vince returning would undo all that goodwill that Triple H and Stephanie and Nick Khan have put together since Vince since Vince's departure over the summer. And in my opinion, Vince McMahon needs to. It's not a suggestion. It's a fact that Vince McMahon needs to sit there and say, or somebody needs to sit back and tell Vince, look, if you give two shits about this promotion, if you care about about the company you brought more success to, more notoriety to, more attention to over the last 40 years than anything you've invested in, don't undo all that work that you did over the decades and come back when you're not wanted. And it's not just by fans, it is by executives, it is by stockholders, it is by wrestlers, it is by anyone and everyone involved with the company or invested in the company in some way, shape, or form that don't want Vince back. So I ask you, Vince, for somebody that has been a wrestling fan for over 25 years or almost 25 years, please think of WWE. And if you care about the company at all, don't come back. Retire. Go off into the sunset and retire. Enjoy your golden years and just retire. Spend time with your grandkids. Spend time with Shane. You know, enjoy retirement and leave the company in the solid hands that it's in with Triple H, or like more than capable hands that it's in with Triple H, Steph, and Nick Khan. Walk away. You may think you got bad advice, but you didn't. You got the advice that you may not have liked, but was best for WWE and was best for business, because the fact of the matter is, it ended up allowing WWE to be able to move forward. And the one gut punch that you hated is that it moved forward without you. But let it go. Let me know your thoughts on the down in the comment section below. I will be posting another news video because there's a little bit more news to get to. But that's it for this news video. And if you do enjoy, feel free to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and do not forget to ding dang that notification bell to always know when a new video is up on the channel. I will see you in the next one.